all 17 contacts. The first thing that you want to do if you're having trouble and you think your account isn't working, go to Flows, check your error log, and see if there's anything in here. Now, this account, I wasn't able to publish anything. It just kept buffering. My bot was deactivated because I hit the 25 contact limit. Now, that happens when you're doing a lot of testing. The things you may need to do if the account has hit that maximum and it's basically in a buffering mode here, go into the inbox and delete one contact. If you try and delete all the contacts at once, it's probably not going to work. You need to get the account cleared below the 25 contacts first, then it will start operating better. This only happens with trial accounts because you have that 25 limit cap. But once you remove some of those, you can continue to use that account. You just have to keep it under the 25. And this isn't a problem with a paid account. This is only on trial accounts. And I find it's one of the most common things that people run into. They think something's wrong with their account, but they've hit that maximum, and they just need to clear that out. And then everything's fine. Once you have deleted a couple of contacts in your inbox individually, then you could go back to your contacts list and try to delete all of the rest of them. You see it has 17 in here. Yours might say 25. If it does, your account isn't going to work until you delete a few of these. But I'm going to go ahead. These are all just testing guests. So I'll click on Actions and Delete Contact. And it should delete all 17 contacts. And once you have done that and deleted the contacts, you can go back and activate the bot. And now you are good to go. You see that the messages came back in of these two where it was blank before. So now the bot is active again. Another thing that might be going on is you might not have your flow published. If you look in the flows list here and you see a yellow dot, that means it was not published or saved correctly. And so when you go into a flow, if you just look at it, you're fine. But the minute you move anything around in here, you need to republish. Otherwise, you're going to have that yellow dot. Now everything's good to go. The account is active. It should work fine. If not, I'm going to go back and check my error log and see if there's something there. If you have this happen where you don't see any folders up here, all you see is your flows, all you need to do is refresh, and it'll pop those folders back in. That happens quite often. And a lot of times just refreshing your screen allows everything to populate nicely. The same goes for when you're creating custom fields. If you create a new one, it might not populate right away. You may need to come and refresh or publish something for that to take effect. But if you go and click on the custom fields here, you'll see whether your custom field is in there or not and added to the system. One of the other things that happens quite often is when you go in here and find that the flow isn't working because it's not turned on. You need to make sure these are turned on and active. And if you can't find the flow that you need because these aren't alphabetized, just click on the little search magnifying glass and type in a word that you think is in the flow. If you can't remember the exact name, and it'll show all of the flows that have that in there. If you're looking for a particular welcome message, for instance, see, it will show welcome messages that are in this current folder that I'm in, the main folder. But it also is showing that in the folder audio, I have a welcome message. And so if I didn't know that's where it was, I could just click in that folder, and now I can get access to this flow. So the search is quite handy once you start getting multiple folders and numerous flows. Thing that's quite common when people think their account is broken. When you create a flow, You give some instructions to the AI. You're going to save whatever that AI generates to a custom field. And I'll just put AI summary. Now if I publish this and I test it, nothing happens. And you might think that there's something wrong, that this isn't working. Well, there's two things that you need to check when you go to test your flows and nothing's working correctly. First of all, where is your start button? If I have more than one node in here and my start button is over here and I'm expecting this to fire off, it's not going to. It's going to start from here. You can't ever delete anything when it's the start block. So I would have to move the start block over here to be able to delete this. Now this is my starting block. But the problem now is I've created a task for the AI to do. It's coming up with a response. It's going to say hi, and it's going to save that response here. And it's doing that. If I would go check the executions, when I fire that, it's doing it. It's probably done it twice. But I don't see it because I haven't displayed what that response is. I need to have another box here and display that cuff that I saved that response in. And if I do that, publish it and preview it, now it's going to fire off and say hi, because the response that this AI created is now being displayed. You're doing a web chat and you want to put it on to a website, you have to make sure that you authorize that website here, or you're going to get an error as well and it won't work. One of the other things that might be happening when you go to try and do certain things in your account and you don't have those options here. I don't have the option here to create a Facebook automated comment reply or an Instagram automated comment reply. And the reason I don't is because I don't have those connected to this account yet. If I'm trying to build a flow, say I want to start a drip campaign on this flow and I want to add them to subscribe to a drip campaign. When I go into actions, I don't have that option because I don't have any drip campaigns set up yet. If I didn't have my Google Sheets integrated on this account, I wouldn't see Google Sheets here either. It's important when you're trying to do something and you say it's not working, one of the things you need to go check in your settings, make sure you have all the integrations correct with your Google Sheets, your Google Calendar, your payment processors. Make sure all the channels are connected correctly. If it won't send an email correctly, you need to go in here and make sure that your email is set up. One of the other things that might be happening is you don't have the right instructions in your OpenAI block or in your default reply instructions. Make sure if you have an OpenAI block with some instructions and you're requiring a function to fire for that to work properly, that function has to be in here. And if you have instructions in here, you need to make sure the instructions say what they need to say in order for it to make sense and to work properly. It's usually what's happening. The instructions aren't clear enough or there aren't enough examples in here. My instructions are in the agent, so I have all those here. And every time I create a new function or add a flow that requires some instructions in here to the main prompt, I'll go in and add that. When I created the appointment for inspections function, I went in here and put some instructions in that said if people are looking to get an appointment for inspections, you're going to call for that function and that flow. And you need to do that every time. Wherever your instructions are, if they're in an agent, come here and do them. If they are in an OpenAI block specific to that flow, that you've created, then put them in there. But you always want to make sure that you have your functions listed in the block of instructions or in your default reply if that's where it's coming back to. And just remember, whatever problems you are having, if you check your error log, go into your inbox and look at the executed actions, see what's going on. Use your assistant, ask questions in the chat, look up things in the documents, see if you're doing the steps correctly. And then if you still have problems, you can come into the Discord channel or the Facebook group and ask for help. There's somebody always there willing to give you a hand and get you moving in the right direction. I hope that helped. As always, if you have any questions, leave comments below, like and subscribe, and I will see you in